Hello and welcome to episode 2. We're literally not gonna even recap. This is the first episode. We talk about what the game is there, and I have literally just uploaded this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I am in a need for another roll, so this is what we're gonna do. So excited and a little bit nervous, which is the vibe we were anticipating either way. Let's see. It's 13, I want to say. Sometimes it kind of falls wonky, but I want to say it's 13. Oh, so close to the 20! Very awkward angle, but it'll do. Oh dear, indeed. This is not a short book to start on, but it is a book that I really wanted to read. I did enjoy the first book in a series. I actually prefer the second one in the series. However, it has now been literally years since I've read them. You can probably, for those who have read it, they will recognize it from the border, but for those who don't quite know, this is the reveal. It is Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. This is his YA sci-fi series. The series itself is about a girl who wants to clear her father's name, who was marked as a traitor. She enrolls into basically a military system, wants to prove herself and again clear her dad's name and become a pilot. From being in the program, she then discovers a lot of things that she was not meant to. And there is a sentient ship, and then there is a slug. So we have a little bit of silly, goofy things, but also some, you know, dramatic relationship stuff and all of that. So don't want to say too much else on this, but we have some fun sci-fi end papers. I don't know if I was necessarily super in the mood for this just now, hence, you know, I mean, it wasn't too low on the thing, but again, as I said at the beginning, I'm a mood reader, so it changes like the weather, despite the weather in Scotland consistently being windy and miserable recently, so that actually doesn't apply here, but it is a sci-fi, and I do mesh the best with sci-fi, so I'll just get in the mood. Maybe I'll find like a little recap of the previous ones just to remember somewhere online. The people who write up the recaps, they are the real MVPs, honestly, because that is so helpful. But this is the card from the inside. I have not peeked yet at what it is. Read at sunrise. Actually, that's not too bad because it is winter season, so if it ever had to happen, the fact that it's happening now is not too bad because the sunrise is, we can check online at what time the sunrise is, so I don't have to start the book at sunrise, but I have to at some point during me reading up this book wake up at sunrise and be reading at sunrise. It genuinely, I've been waking up and starting work and it still felt like it's dark outside, so this is gonna be possibly, unless it's a clear day, but it's possibly going to be a very anticlimactic experience, but I mean, maybe it will be a nice sunny day and actually will feel like what it is, but currently it says the sunrise, it says it right there. Sunrise is at basically 1 minute past 8. That is not early at all. I mean, I do kind of try because I work from home and I go to bed fairly late, so I do try to squeeze in every possible minute in the morning that I can off sleep because my morning hours are my prime sleeping hours. And it's not the worst. Like in the summer, obviously this would be a much sadder occurrence. But that's fine. That's fine. Oh, there's pictures. I mean, don't look too closely in case it's spoilery, but that's fun. Forgot, I knew that there's a map and whatnot, but okay, you know what? I'm into it. I just need to get some recaps and then we'll get on it and then I'll be caught up with this, and I think there's a last one coming out maybe this year. So then I'll be nice and prepped for that. Hopefully I'll actually enjoy it. The thing is that I have heard that it's not the best out of the series from people who have read it. However, I also know that by the popular vote, people also preferred the first one rather than the second one, and I prefer the second one, so by that logic, I might also enjoy this. I'm girl mathing. Good morning. It is dawn o'clock. I didn't actually plan on waking up today for this. I haven't actually started the book yet yesterday. So I thought, cause I awoke, well actually it was Zeus who kindly woke me up, but I was like, I could wake up. Can't really see because again it's just gray, although you might later, I don't know. I mean, technically the sun is not up yet, I guess. Although by the time that I've spoken about this, it's 4 past. Waiting, sun. We're waiting. Let me read a little bit, I guess. Hello, happy days, because it is a very happy day. Not only is today Logan's birthday, but I, for once in my life, have gotten some positive news from my doctor's appointment I just went to, which means, and it's something that's been really like kind of heavy on my mind since December. Basically, long story short, I had a test because I was not feeling too well, and my liver and kidney markers were way off, liver more so than kidney, which is hilarious for someone who like drinks 3 times a year. However, what does happen with the liver sometimes, if you start a new medication and it can not do well with your liver. We were concerned for a hot second there that it is from my injections from a migraine, aka the only medication that is helping me manage this plague that I have in my brain. I was really just trying not to think about it and just kind of, you know, live on, because I knew all we had to do is wait. I needed to do another like blood test, but I also needed to wait enough for if it was an infection, because I did have a weird array of symptoms at the time that I went to get this first blood test. That was the time when I was like all swollen up and I wasn't sure what's happening. However, some of my like, you know, the white blood cells or platelets or whatever that normally do get spiked up, if you have an infection, we're fine. So that's why I was like, we were a bit concerned. And the doctor, you know, said like it could be due to your medicine, and obviously if it would be because of my medicine, I would have to stop it. So that's the only thing that was kind of like keeping me going. So that was not fantastic. But anyway, obviously I already said it, but the test came out fine. All the other ones that I did have also flagged up. It's something that I can do, you know, try and correct with supplements, and I'm not worried about. It's like not ideal, but it's also nothing to worry about at all. So I am temporarily elated, which is great, because I've been having a crisis like about my life for many months now. So I'm gonna take this momentarily, because I'm sure I'm gonna be back at it, but like for today and today only, maybe for longer, one can hope. I am feeling great. I am thriving. I am so happy. I need 2 to 4 working days to process, I think, because I genuinely wanted to have a little cry in the car, but it's not quite hitting. And I know this sounds like a minor thing, but if I had to stop the medicine, it took me 10 years, well 9, because technically I started like over a year ago, but it took me 9 years to find something that has helped my migraines, and the migraines also progressively got worse and worse and worse with time. So by the time that I actually did find the medicine, I don't actually want to talk about how I was. I'm just relieved. Relieved is the word. I'm so relieved that I can actually, like, that's not an issue that I have to face now. Okay, because it's Logan's birthday, we have a little pizza party happening, so I'm putting these on. We have some dough balls on the side, which maybe need to... Zeus. What? What? What, baby? Come here. Where are you? What's up? book-wise, I am unfortunate, well, not unfortunately, I'm on like 76 pages. I do unfortunately, well, yes, it is unfortunate because I spent, I don't think I decided to spend the credit. I decided to buy it because it was on sale, so it was cheaper than a credit, basically. So I got the credit, and in the sample, because I'm pretty picky with my audiobooks, which, you know, is completely on me. But in the sample, it sounded great. It sounded fantastic. But then the issue was that I like the main character, but the M-bot, which is my favorite character and everyone's favorite character, I'm not unique in this, but it's my favorite character, and unfortunately sounds nothing like what I imagine in my mind, and genuinely kind of ruins it for me. So instead, I'm pretty much reading it physically and I can't return it. Fantastic times. I probably will listen to it like slightly on audiobook when I must, if I really like need to, but I'm just a little bit bitter about this fact, and that's also valid. But yeah, I don't have many thoughts. It's not necessarily grabbing my attention as much as the first or second one, so that's not ideal, but I'm also like enjoying it. So guess that's that. I'm on second day of migraines today, so we be looking how we be feeling, but I did manage to finish Cytonic, and whilst there were fun bits, mainly through like one character and some fun banter and some fun lines, this is definitely by far my least favorite in the series, so much so that I don't actually know if I'm gonna be continuing, even though I only have one left. So maybe I will, just because I only have one left and then I finish the series, and I know that the author is notoriously good at like endings, so I probably will, but I'm so disappointed. There was nothing like inherently wrong with it, but I think for me personally there was too much like technical writing, and that is one of my least favorite things from the author as well. It's the I don't even know if on paper this is correct, but it felt to me like there was just so much moving and so much traversing and so much action scenes in comparison to what I actually love about the series. I felt like we didn't really have a lot of scenes where we're just stoic and interacting with one another, and I also, the way that this whole series is set up, it seems to be like every book you're kind of learning and meeting a whole new set of characters, and that's not my favorite. I think it would combined with the whole, you know, action scene amount. It's just not my favorite. I love getting to know the characters and then getting to know them more. You know, like I don't want to relearn new characters, even though I do think he's done it well. It's just not my favorite. It makes it feel like the first book all over again, even if we do have reoccurring characters, but I think it is telling that the reoccurring characters and their bits are basically the best part for me of the book. So I'm so like, well, this on the back of Ninth House just is putting me back in my slum, so it's not haha funny. We really need the next read to be good. I feel like number 13 really has betrayed me big time. I mean, it was still a high number, but it clearly has not, yeah, it should have been lower. I feel like it should have been lower. And then like that last time, what was it, number 6 or something? No, it wasn't number 6, it was like number 8. I can't remember. The one that was like better. It's 5 stars. But I'm excited to move on because this has been not the best, which is, yeah, it's funny because obviously in the second book, again, as I said, like the whole thing of like you meet a lot of new characters, that didn't bother me because of a certain thing I can't really say. I really thought that we can like leave that behind, and I feel like we just keep in that same kind of vein, and I don't love it. I don't love it. Okay, let's go on. Hello. Come on, good luck. 7. Hold it, Zeus. The Reveal, Early Riser. This is a book that Logan keeps recommending, so we'll see how that goes. There's a dystopia. It's, I think, about, oh, fun little tower map. I believe this is about... It's also going to be my first Jasper Ford, and I actually have 3 books of his on my bookshelf, which is a bit silly for something that I haven't read. But again, Logan has read it. So, and one of the books I got before because I really wanted to read it. Anyway, doesn't matter. But it seems to be in a world where every winter the human population hibernates, and then I think some weird dreams start happening. Like it says, your name is Charlie Worthing, and it's your first season with the Winter Consoles, the committed but mildly unhinged group of misfits who are responsible for ensuring the hibernatory I don't know, safe passage of the sleeping masses. You're investigating an outbreak of viral dreams which you dismiss as nonsense, nothing more than a quirky artifact born of the sleeping mind. I can't read, which is fantastic for a reading log. When the dreams start to kill people, it's unsettling. When you get the dreams too, it's weird. When they start to come true, you begin to doubt your sanity. Teasing truth from winter is never easy. You have to avoid the villains and their penchant of murder, kidnapping, and stamp collecting. Ensuring you aren't eaten by nightwalkers whose thirst for human flesh can only be satisfied by comfort food, and sidestep an increasingly less than mythical winter walk. But as long as you remember to wrap up warmly, you'll be fine. I'm excited. This sounds great. Honestly, I need a little bit of nonsense. I need a little bit of absurdism. Very excited. I'm about to check the task, which I don't know why it makes me nervous though. I think I might put a suggestion poll thing on Instagram. I got a couple of suggestions on my previous video. Thank you for those. A lot of them are something that I already have on the shelves and waiting for me. I'm actually a little bit sad that we didn't get my crochet, like one of the crochet, I think I have 2 maybe, prompts in the shelves for Skyward, because well, not Skyward, Cytonic, because I had a perfect thing I could have made for it, but alas, we didn't. So let's see what this one is. That's ironic that I say that. I literally had it in my mind. I was like, watch me say this and then get that from here. I could do a little cheat and still apply this for Cytonic, just because it was in like back to back. I could, but I also will have a think, or like maybe start reading this and see if anything comes up from this. I'll see. But if not, and if I would rather, I'm gonna allow myself to do the thing that I would have done, which is Doomslug from Cytonic. I will allow myself that if, I mean, I can always find something, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm actually very excited about this. It just sounds like right up my alley. The only thing that could be wrong is the writing style. That doesn't mesh with my style. I guess you just gotta try. But the premise sounds very fun. I'm very excited. And it's winter, so, you know, if I ever... it would be now. I'm also so freezing. Also, sorry, I had a coffee recently, but look at all the colors that I can finally use for my flowers for the blanket, because the previous ones, the 9th house and Cytonic, they don't really have a lot of colors. Primarily, they're just the same ones, which both of them include a bit of yellow, which, why? I mean, yeah. I didn't anticipate to have so much yellows and reds, because when you look at the covers normally, that's like one of the least seen colors if you just glance quickly, which is funny though, because apparently there's a lot of details in those shades and the covers. But even then, we have a lot to pick from, which makes me very happy because I feel like it's been slim pickings. But anyway, this is the end of my lunch break and I have to go back to work. But I wanted to update you because I did finish. Fantastic. Happy to move on to this one. Yes, yeah. I am on page 170 of Early Riser. I have quickly realized that the world, like, I don't know why I thought it was gonna be like a wilderness and just snow everywhere and everyone's kind of The Last of Us-ish, right? But no, like, the society is still very much there. It's just an alternate reality where you have to kind of hibernate during the winter, and there's certain officials who stay up to make sure that everyone is doing okay. And our main character kind of joins in with them. So far I'm really enjoying the tone of this. It's so unserious, but it is quite quirky, so to that extent I can actually listen to this very easily. I have to pay like a significant amount of attention. I don't know what it is. It's just like the kind of quirky language. It's like a very sweet spot, so I'm very happy about that. And yeah, our character just goes on and gets himself in all sorts of trouble. He has I want to say a genetic abnormality, and it's visible in the face, which is quite interesting. Have a very colorful cast of characters with their personalities. They're very, yeah, quirky. It's all just very bizarre, which I'm really enjoying it. It's quite Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in the tone of it, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So I did, however, struggle a little bit finding out what I should do for the crochet thing, because there's not like a particular thing really, but we can go by the cover and can go by the setting. Obviously we have the snow, and I believe it is mainly set in Wales, so they have the snowy mountains, which this is the closest to what I'm kind of getting at, because other than that, at first I was like, oh, maybe like cans of food, because food plays a big role. You have to like stock up so your body lasts. It's also really funny, at one point it's mentioned like Grand Theft pantry, which I think is hilarious. So I can still make like a food item out of it. But there have been some foods mentioned, and there was definitely a tomato mentioned, and I know for a fact I can make a tomato like an amigurumi, so that's fine. So it's between that or trying to somehow work out how to do a mountain pillow is the best that I can kind of think of. I'm also a little bit limited. Obviously you guys seen, I have like a lot of yarn. However, I have a lot of big yarn. So one, it works up really quickly, and even though it looks like I have a lot, certain colors only gonna last for a certain like amount, right? And then two, I can't really make any anything super intricate, because my current like small yarn is for the flower blanket project, and I don't want to touch it because I already have a lot that I need. Or I do have some other leftover smaller yarn, however very limited in color schemes and what I can do with that. So, and I actually kind of do want to use the fluffy thing, so it's either a tomato. I want to see tomato. I could do pickles as well, but I don't think that pickles were necessarily mentioned. There was a lot of food that was mentioned, so any food item I would say is kind of fair game, because food is a big topic in here. Or like a snowy mountain. That honestly seems even maybe a little bit less relevant so far. However, it is on the cover, so we could go with that. Of course, there's so many possibilities that I could do a snowflake square, or a beach square, or even the mountain square, like a granny square. That would be the easiest thing, apart from like me lacking the color yarns or having to use the yarns that I'm kind of putting aside for the blanket. But I just have no use for it. Not do I have a use for a tomato? Probably not, but you know what I mean, like at least that can go into the pile of my like plushies. The square would just be a singular square that I don't necessarily, I'm not gonna make it like a massive project out of it. So the thing is with the mountain pillow, looked up online for some patterns, didn't find necessarily things that I would kind of want to get. Basically is what I'm saying is that I would be trying to freehand it, which I did with the basket, but the basket is much easier than this. I mean, I could probably, it would be like a circle. I probably would start it as a basket and then just, oh, there's a crow. Hello, crow. Try and work something from there. So this could also potentially very much fail. But instead of making a decision, I think I'm gonna put it as a poll on Patreon, and I'll put it just as an emoji with very little context, I think. And then I'll let them decide what I'm doing in the next, like, I have like to put like a wash on or something, so in that time, so not a long time, but okay, let's do that. The post just says, I need you to make a decision for me, and these are the three options in the emoji. So first one is a snowy mountain, the second one is a tomato, and the third one I've decided to add is a chocolate bar. Now the one that they constantly mention, I don't know why, and it's always like half eaten, but they keep feeding people Snickers bars. So I thought maybe I can find something that's like a chocolate bar or a Snickers, like I did a very quick Google. I think there's something, not the most accurate, but like something like that. We can make that. Oh, I don't know that homie has a brown yarn actually. Oversight, and people might pick chocolate. Uh-oh. That was not very bright of me. I mean, I do have orange. How do I not? Well, I have light brown. That's it. Oh my god, how do I not have orange? Okay, well, kind of hoping now people do not pick that. But we'll figure something out. But in the meantime, I'm gonna put a little bit of an audiobook on and go do a couple of chores. Not gonna take me a long time at all, probably like 10 minutes tops, and we can check in, see what people have picked for us.
A few moments later.
Right, it literally has been 12 minutes, and I don't think it's gonna change much even if I wait a little bit. I mean, I did this entirely to myself, and I expected that this, like, as soon as I posted, I was like, what an idiot. People will probably think I'm just gonna like treat myself to chocolate. Anyway, not the case, unfortunately, but I went and scoured my basket here for the colors, and I do have some good news, I guess. I mean, these are like very hard, like the red is a very harsh red, so, but you know, can't be picky. And then I did find a brown, and I want to say these are the same weight, is what I want to say. The red one might be slightly smaller. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It is what it is. This one is definitely a different, this is a different brand and different size, but that's okay. We have the 3 colors that I can see that they needed. So we're just gonna go with these and hope that it turned out how it turned out. So it doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna be listening to the audiobook while trying to do this. Hopefully it's, you know, not too complicated, and so I can do that. There are a lot of more defined and prettier chocolate bar crochet ones, but they all have like the actual chocolate squares, which we don't need because this is supposed to be a Snicker-ish. So I think we are just gonna go with this one by this person on YouTube, and we're just gonna hope for the best. I mean, I can see that they were trying to do the square thing with the line there. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna skip it. I would attempt putting in like actually there's no nuts on like visible on the Snicker. There's nothing, right? Like it's just chocolate. It doesn't even have, because I was like maybe caramel, but on a brown it'll just look like shit in a wrapper. So I think we're just not gonna risk it, and we're just gonna do a unified one. We'll slap some eyes on, I'll put some blush on maybe, and it will be cute. Also, we hope.
But if Jonesy mentioned it, it was probably for a reason.
Though, because I feel like if you didn't know what this was meant to be, you just wouldn't know. I gave it to Logan. He first of all held it this way and then asked if it is a bean in a hat. Fair. It's very fair, but we have our chocolate bar. Momo has been really liking it, so it might end up being a cat toy for a little bit, but it's the last day of the vlog. I'm showing you what happened. I think it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. I recognize that Snickers has a brown wrapper, but brown on brown would just be even worse. And there's a little bit of red, so we're just gonna go with it. I wish I made this bit longer. Like, this is supposed to be like the little wrapper, if you like, you know, half unwrapped. Basically, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be like the chocolate emoji that you have, but let us not forget for a second my reward for the bingo card. First of all, so many of you have kindly, most of you have kindly told me that I have indeed missed the word cereal, and it was in the book. This is for the 9th house. So that means that I actually get to buy 2 books, which is obviously great news for me. I've picked my books, I don't have them yet. So I went for one well-known and one, the other one has 11 ratings and 2 reviews on Goodreads, so lesser known, but we're taking a chance. The first one is called Remarkably Bright Creatures, and it is a story about a woman who works at an aquarium and her son disappeared in like a boat accident, and then there's an octopus that knows stuff, hates humans because they obviously captured him, but bonds with this woman and then solves the disappear, something like that. But I can already tell this could be extremely heartbreaking if anything happens, because animals, but it seems to have a lot of good reviews, seems to be quite like heart-wrenching, and I'm always looking for that emotional investment in the story. And then the little known one is called Momenteering, the misadventures of living other people's moments. You guys know speculative is my favorite thing ever, and this is screaming speculative. It's about a guy that has a service of, you know, he has a power to be in someone else's body, like take over their body basically, and his service is he can do that to live through moments people don't want to personally go through, which sounds terrible, but also great service, would use probably. Wouldn't it just be nice to take a little break, just a little break from yourself and your body? Although I don't know if I could like put someone else in my body with all the pain and stuff. It's been a rough week. I've obviously filmed in between, so it might have looked, but like full disclosure, it's been a tough one in between. It's been not fantastic. Anyway, sounds very interesting. Does come already with content warnings, and the 2 reviews that I did see said that it's not for the faint-hearted. It tackles some quite sad topics, but it also is written in that kind of humorous, quirky way that I have come to appreciate. So I guess we'll see. Hopefully we'll be arriving sometime next week. I think it's a good pick because, you know, it could be not a good book, but it's just nice to have something a little bit less, just taking a leap of faith. The synopsis sounds very promising and very interesting, so there we go. And we're done with this one. I'm very happy about, because not only was it very entertaining and very witty in the writing style, I do think maybe at the end there was a little bit of a cop-out. It lost my attention somewhere mid, like 70%, I want to say. I did get a bit less enthusiastic about this. I can't really say why, because it's kind of plot related. So I can't really, but I do think it made it a little bit convoluted there when it didn't need to be. Don't get me wrong though, it isn't like hard to follow, but it is kind of like relentless in a way. It's very monotone in the witty tone, which I actually don't mind too much, but I can also see people minding it, because it is like, you can't really, there's not much like ebb and flow, it's just kind of flow. Like it's on the one line. Does that make sense? Do I make sense? Probably not. Anyway, I haven't ran it through Cobalt, but I anticipated being either a very, very high 3-star or a 4-star. I don't think it quite got, I think it's gonna be a 4-star. I don't think it's gonna be a 3-star actually. It's like, I really did enjoy it. I would absolutely read and absolutely will read something else by this author, probably The Constant Rabbit. So I think there's some other books, I think Shades of Grey, I want to say. I will definitely be checking those out. This book has absolutely made me want to read more by the author, and if they come out with anything else, if I have a success with another of their book, it's going to be one of those like probably auto-buy authors, which is very exciting. So overall, very good experience. A little bit convoluted in times, a little bit lost me in portions, but overall there were some parts that genuinely were proper out loud giggle worthy, and that is not That's not an easy feat, and it is not accomplished very often. So we're gonna give the points where the points are due. This is becoming a very good reading month, actually. I bet I feel like I just jinxed that, but hopefully not. I am, however, grateful that at least for, you know, even though I was quite disappointed with the first read, at least I had a good time with this, so it's not all bad. But with that, we get to roll again and see what's in store next, book-wise and prompt-wise.